at the event, and super excited for this weekend. Probably, well, for sure, one of our favorite events of the year.
Yeah, I think it's hands down the favorite event.
I know, yes,
but
that's true.
10-year anniversary of Wodapalooza. So this is our first year having athletes competing. So we have Jason Hopper, who's been with HWPO for quite a while now, competing. We have our coach, Jake Marconi, also competing in the same division. So Jake coaches Jason on a day-to-day basis, and they are competing against each other. So that's going to be entertaining. We got some other friends competing. We're doing HWPO workouts. Sammy's doing a pancake breakfast.
Pancake breakfast, second annual pancake breakfast.
We've got athlete briefings going on with all the members of HWPO, so anyone that's competing, doesn't matter what division, the night before competition starts, we're doing athlete briefings, and then we're just having some fun in the sun.
We're under some shade right now, but I swear there's sun here.
A little reprieve from the Vermont winter.
Yeah, I know. A couple inches of snow at home, so this is nice.
Yeah.
Vitamin D.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, looking to go home with a little sun kiss. You know what I mean?
Did great out there. So we got stuff to work on. Be happy with that. Oh, like always? Huh? Like always? Yeah, like always. Good info. Give him my arm, my legs. I got worried for you when I was like, ooh, he's going into the fourth round. Like double under, so fantastic. You kept a good pace until the very end of the GHD.
Seconds. Lane number 16, Ireland. Lane number 7, two fakes and a block.
You went very fast.
Lane number 8, fuse swap. Lane number 9, rounding out the heat for your elite women's division. Maxon Powell.
Yeah, the work's done. Now it's just executing. So stuff like that, going into the final round, once you start feeling tired, don't change how your body moves. Like, I could tell as soon as you went from the third round, fourth round, your just body posture changed. You started dropping your head, you started getting like jello neck, jello legs.
1 minute.
In between your movements, during your movements. And it's like trick your body. Like you always keep good posture, always look strong. Don't turn into jumping with your head bobbling all over the place. Alright? So the fitness you have is the fitness you have. So you should feel like that again in a workout. Like that's going to happen. But just try to conduct yourself. You only move one way. Your body only sits one way. Alright? That's strong. So that was great. The fitness is there. It's just executing, finding that pace. You got the heart cramps.
10 seconds.
Don't load up on carbs. Drink salt.
Athletes,
do you have salt?
stand by.
No? Okay. Yeah, we'll track you down some. But just drink.
All right.
Get back to the athlete area.
Tackling flipped off.
Like now.
We're going to do this a cappella, no music.
Cooler, dunk your head in. Alright? Like until it's
there we go.
Alright? Alright?
5.
It's a seasoned bag, you know?
Yeah.
My favorite was the lemon ricotta we did back in the day. We gotta bring this back at some point. I don't even know what a ricotta is.
It's cheese. That's all you need to know. That's why it's so good.
Yeah,
It's cheese.
cheese in a pancake, but it somehow works. Yeah, all right.
Going down a Turn it around. Chest up.
It's the same as me. When I'm running and flicking the top of my head.
As soon as he starts touching his head, I'm like, oh no.
Oh no!
You with the
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Matt would start to overheat, he'd like brush his head.
I would
And it
get
would be
head
like-
tingles, and it felt like there was shit in my hair, so I'd always be brushing my head.
And I would be sitting in the stands being like, uh-oh, we're going
bad.
down. Going down.
You see the red line?
Mayday!
Mayday. Yeah. SOS.
Someone get him some fruit snacks!
Send out a flare.
Alright, so event 1 is a wrap. 2 HWPO athletes, Jake Marconi, did really well, paced it perfectly. I was a little worried, like near the end, he was sitting down in between reps or just squatting down. You know, we're like, Jake, go, go, go. And then in the last 30 seconds, he failed a rep, and I was like, oh, okay. You paced it well. So he had a full effort all the way through. Hopper, like, considering what the movements were, catered to his strengths and weaknesses. He did phenomenally. He finished the workout in the 4th round. You know, obviously slowed down, like 4th round, I think kind of hit him more than he was expecting. But we're able to go back on, like, all right, what was the movement that was actually giving you a tough time? So, you know, going in, we thought it would be the GHDs. You know, that's something we've been hammering a lot. Ended up, it was the heavy jump rope. So it's like, all right, the work that we've been putting in on the GHDs paid off. The transitions from, you know, getting a high heart rate, then lifting a heavy weight, that paid off. Now it's, all right, switch that focus, you know, add in heavy rope is one of those things to work on. I think there are some other HWPO, some people that follow HWPO Pro that did the workout. You know, they did really well, so that was exciting. You know, I met with Drew Wayman last night, you know, just kind of giving my thoughts, my critiques on the workout, and then watch him go out there, execute really well. You know, whether that was his own experience or any input I had, just glad he did well. But we got one more event tonight, so we're gonna go grab some food and just wait till then.
Right to work, really cranking away on that thing. Only 9 calories to go, so Jason Hopper looking to empty the tank here. Jason Hopper is going to win event number 2, pick up 100 points, and move into the top 10 in the USA.
Woo! You want to head down? Yeah. Will they exit out over here?
I think so.
Callous for pain.
Like, when, like you, I mean, phenomenal job. Like, you got a couple no reps.
Yeah.
You didn't even bat an eye. You just fucking kept moving.
Yeah.
That was great. Your pace in that bike. Look at you.
Learning, man, learning.
Dude, that was beautifully executed. You should be proud of that one. That was a big win. Especially, dude, like, lightish, medium weight thrusters. Like, that's a long way for that bar to travel. Like, that was crushed.
I'll use that as an excuse, though.
Oh, of course not.
I gotta run. That was awesome. That was fun to watch.
Love you.
That was really cool. Yo, go start that recovery process.
I'll tell you tonight.
Start winding down. Like, recovery starts right now. Get back there, get in some dry clothes, eat a bunch of food, cool down, chill, start getting the heart rate down, all right? That was cool.
What a great interview he gave too. Did you hear him?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I gotta pretend like I'm not human. The pain does not exist. Oh!
You said that though.
Oh man, what a
That's
start.
awesome.
Like, as you're bringing that bar down, like, I don't know if you guys ever pay attention to it, but like, guide it down as much as you can, and the last second come up. Like, I always jump up to meet the bar, so that free falling distance is just a couple inches less. But yeah, try to meet the bar, ride it into the dip, make sure your dip is in the right position, otherwise you just get pulled forward. Always a nylon Velcro belt, so that in between reps, you can just quick unzip, deep breath, pull, put it back on. It's going to give you the exact same support in a Metcon, but you have the versatility of loosening it up in between movements. It's not clunky. I mean, if you have a belt on that's sticking out this much, you're not hitting it in a pull. You're doing something wrong. And then especially with barbell, basically any movement where you're touching any equipment to your chest. So even the rope climbs, always have a shirt on, because as soon as your equipment gets wet, especially like coming down off rope climbs, if you're coming down correctly, using all feet, keeping your chest in close to the rope, so you can descend quickly and you're staying vertical. If you're sweaty, that rope now is wet. Next time you jump up, you're on a greased pole. Barbell complex, absolutely should have a shirt on. If you're in the sun, make it a white t-shirt.
Little palette cleanser.
Yeah, these
East all day.
East all day.
Side.
Good cup of coffee. Nailed it. I was saying, my mom yesterday, we were walking around, she's like, oh, I could really go for a cup of coffee. And I was just like, literally nothing here is going to be what I want to drink. And I'm good. Like, I don't need coffee. And I'd like rather not have coffee at all than have a bad cup of coffee. Like, I can't suffer through a bad cup of coffee. I just know what I want. I want pour over, a light roast. Like, I'm like very particular as to what I want to enjoy. I'm not willing to like, oh, I'll just have a burnt, dark roast cup of coffee just to have it. It's like, no, I'm good. Just won't. Yeah. Just give me a monster.
There you go.
Yeah.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Dude, I didn't realize that was on the shorty bar.
That's missed that last shirt. I would have had like 4 more spots ahead of me.
It's done. No for next time?
Oh, look. Until that.
Dude, you look so solid. Dude, the power cleans on 295?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Crowd.
So,
The first one felt good. I was like, might as well try another one.
dude, Tim Paulson's dad upstairs was like, what did you tell that boy after event 1? He was like, I saw him do event 1 and figured, oh, he's done for the day. He saw God after event 1, now he's done. And he goes, then he comes out, not only does it great, but he wins it.
Yeah.
What did you tell him? I was like, oh. More stuff to work on, but what events this afternoon?
Chipper, rope climb, lock step rubbers.
Ooh. It's got step overs, so I like it. Dude, step overs, rope climbs, and the rope's not like cut super high. The rope's pretty low. So it's just regular rope climbs, just like another day in the gym. Just keep those arms locked out, hammer those rope climbs. Box step overs,
Smooth.
like get them in a stable position and just get comfortable. Know what foot am I stepping up with? Like if I'm stepping up with my left foot, I'm rotating counterclockwise. If I'm stepping on my right foot, I'm rotating clockwise. Just get fluent with those, and then that workout just being all over it. After the rope climbs, like name one other guy that's done more burpees than you. Nobody. Just
Alright.
as soon as you've done those rope climbs, put the hammer down.
We got like an 8-hour break. It'll last.
Oh, perfect. Go back to your hotel room, chill, eat, rest, change, shower, hit the reset button, again, start relaxing. Alright,
I'll see you later.
There's some units of. Oh yeah. Dude, when the final heat came out, I was like, wow. Everyone is big except for Colton. Everyone is big.
Yeah, but Colton like can just move the bar.
He can
So,
move
and he's like
so
small.
Yeah, front squat.
He's
five
super,
doesn't
have a lot of range of motion. Like crazy. His like jerks are just like.
Dude, that was a big guy heat.
Oh yeah,
that was
There's
impressive.
some big dudes here. And I mean like.
You have to do box jumps later. It'll
That's
even
right. Climb
out.
a rope, burpee box jump. See you guys there.
Yeah, except when Jason doesn't have to put his feet on the rope and he can just jump up, touch the
Hey, I
feet.
seem to recall the last rope climb workout he did didn't go so well.
That's right, he wasn't that great at it.
No, we've corrected it since then, dude. He could do that at rope.
Oh yeah, that's
crushed
right.
it.
Yeah, he was good at that. Yeah, he'll be good. He'll be good at the
Don't
step
insult
over.
Matt.
You'll always
He'll be good at the
be
step over.
judged by your first impression.
Yeah. Oh, I'm never gonna let him.
Yeah,
do that.
Pat's a shit
And I
swimmer.
hope you
you
don't
know?
either.
Shit swimmer.
Right.
Shit swimmer.
I
Well,
hope
he
you
practiced. He
there.
just needs to practice.
Pat's old, man. You know, he's coming to the end of his
I
career.
legit was like, Pat, your brand. This is the new brand, and you don't want it. You gotta shut this down. Like, no more old jokes. Your legacy is gonna be the old guy who wouldn't quit. Like,
Yeah.
stop.
And as long as you're still up there.
We were filming a skit for like Podium, and like we were going to like dabble in some of that without saying his name, but just
Yeah.
like that narrative. And then I was like,
Wow, he's still competing?
yeah.
Jeez.
I was like, Morning Chalk Up said
Don't
he's
do
in his
that,
last
Jim.
season. And then I was like, no, like even though we know it's a joke,
Yeah.
that narrative is getting traction
I know.
for some
No
reason.
reason.
Sammy basically texted me that the other day too, being like, Matt's retired, so you're the new whipping post. Got fun. Like, I think Matt kind of gets it. He's like, we don't need to do that to him. It's just gonna.
Appreciate it, Matt.
Everyone else,
He's
oh,
been
no,
down
it's
that
just
road.
funny. It's just funny. I'm like, nope.
People
this,
think it's the internet.
This is what gets the
Yeah,
snowball
exactly.
rolling.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Matt gets it because he's been on the receiving end for many years. So
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah,
I
morning
get the
chalk
joke,
up.
you get the joke, and then it's inevitable that he's thinking about it. It's like, no, you're the one that's saying this. Like, he's getting better. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So Jake was in one of the earlier heats for event 3. I wouldn't call Jake a barbell specialist. He's good at cycling a barbell, but those 1 rep maxes, I would say, he's right around a 350, 355 clean and jerk. But going into it, stubby bar with this type of weight, it was like, hey, it's not a prerequisite to go unbroken to do well in the workout. So I think he went through the first round unbroken, hammered everything pretty quickly, kept the good body positions. The second round started breaking it up. He paced it really well, got to the 3rd bar in good time. But on his first attempt for the jerk, his back foot slipped, just didn't have good traction. I think there might have been a little bit of chalk or something. And then time ran out. It took just the reinvestment cost of having to re-clean it to get it up. And a 315 clean on a stubby bar probably feels more along the lines of 355, 365. You don't realize how much that oscillation helps until you don't have it. But Jake did phenomenally well. I think this was probably the workout he was looking forward to the least, but still executed really well. Has a half decent finish. Then Jason was in the final heat. This was one workout that, just tell him like, hey, it does not matter who finishes the first bar first. It does not matter who finishes the second bar first. It's all about that 3rd bar. So, broke it up, hit it nice. He was feeling better than he anticipated. In training, he did the 295 cleans. Tried doing a power, but it got pushed down. So our game plan was like, hey, don't bother trying to fight for a power clean. Just ride it down, bounce out for a full squat clean. And the power cleans looked phenomenal. Like, he hit the first one, felt good, so he just went for the second one. No mistakes, paced it correctly the first 2 bars. And the 3rd bar, I think it was just right at that breaking point. We probably just need to introduce some more familiarity into the stubby bar, because you see 315 for a barbell complex, it's fine. Like, he has so much cushion from his 1 rep max, but then putting that on a stubby bar, it's so unassuming. You don't realize how much you rely on that oscillation, the timing of getting a good bounce off the bar. So he finished the workout, decent time, did really well, but it's something that we're going to take back to the drawing board, work on, get a stubby bar, and just get more familiar with it so he can execute it even better next time.
What's your favorite was memory, man?
For myself, it was when I was competing, I was very focused on the task at hand, and I was just competing. So it was stay home, train as much as I can, as often as I can. Trips are on a need-to basis, and competed at the games 7 years. Been competing in sport for 8 years, and never once did I ever see a vendor village. Never once did I watch an event from the stand. Never once did I get to see the people that I hear from after every competition of congrats, it was awesome watching, all these things. Never once have I seen them at the competition. So I don't even know why I came down the first time. I remember I think the first year you were running it, I was like, hey, you've been my caddy every year at the games. This is my opportunity to repay the favor. Let me be the guy that carries your drinks, that helps and does the random favors. So before coming down, I got my forklift certificate in case someone needed to run a forklift. I ended up building rigs leading into the competition. But I just had so much fun. That was my first time ever going to a competition as a spectator. And I immediately knew, like, oh, this is why people come to these. It's so much fun. It's way more enjoyable being on the sidelines, watching everyone else go hard. And you can sit down, have a good drink, and enjoy the sun. So, I'm here every year. I'll keep coming every year. It's just a great time. Gave you my full effort. I did everything I could. Now I just hope that you're proud of the effort that you put in. So, I mean, that's all you can ask for, is that everyone's happy at the end of the day.
I was like, all right, I'm going to cruise on the uphills. I'm going to sprint the downhills, as you guys saw. And when it's flat, I'm going to keep pushing hard and kind of rest in the uphills. And I'm like, all right, that's my strategy, but I also don't want to pass someone too early. So I'm sticking with the strategy. And then it got this really long flat. And I was pushing hard, and I was like, dude, I'm catching him. What is happening right now? I was like, well, do I stay behind him or do I pass him? I'm like, maybe he's tired. Like, I don't know. And so I like kind of like ran past him and I'm like, yeah, like I did it. And then he just like got right behind me and I was like, dang it. Like, and he knew no one else was close to us. So he just kind of like cruising like, okay, maybe I'll slow down a little bit and then he'll get back in front of me. Oh, just sat there. And right when we got to the end, we sprinted to the finish. You guys all saw that and we turn around and I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, I just gave it everything I had to get away from this dude. And he was just cruising right behind me and passed me at the end. And I was like, I got nothing left. We start walking up, he's like, just want to do this thing together? And I'm like, yup. So we start going and if you guys watched the hill run event, I was running up the hill with the sandbag. I got passed in the last like 3 feet and it's just like something that stuck. I was so frustrated about that event just because when you cross the finish line, as you guys all know at the CrossFit Games or any event, you just want to know that I gave it everything I had. It might not have went smooth or bad, but my effort was there and I put all the preparation in. And after that event, that was just like, that was not the feeling I had. And I did not want that feeling the rest. So we're going back on the second loop and I'm like, dude, I am not letting someone pass me. Like, that is not happening. Like, I'm still pushing. He's like, dude, if we stopped right now, it would be 3 minutes before the next person catches up to us. He's like, you can back off. And I'm like, nope. Like, I'm going. Like, not happening. And so then he starts asking me questions like, what's your favorite color? And like all this like random stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, Matt Fraser's talking to me. So he would like ask a question. I would like go on this whole spiel. And then I was like, oh, this is pretty funny. So then this is still Matt Fraser. So I'm listening to a podcast after with him on it. And he's talking about this story. And I was like, oh, like I want to hear. And I'm sitting there listening and he's like, yeah, man, Justin, he kept wanting to push at the very end and he wouldn't slow down. So I would just ask him a simple question and he would talk for like 2 minutes and he would slow down. I was like, what the heck, dude? I thought we were friends. But yeah, so that was kind of the story. And then I was like, all right, hey, man, I know we're running this together, but like, I'm going to try to run at the end. And if I pass you, I pass you. Like, I was like trying to let him know. And right when I told him that, he just like dusted me. And I was like, well, I thought I was hanging on, but yeah.
When we turned for the second lap, we started walking. We're both buried, and you know we had the surprise the second lap, and we both buried the needle to finish. And then I was like, hey, like as we're walking, trudging up this hill, I was like, hey, you good? Like we'll pace off each other, and we'll cross the finish line on the second lap in the same position we just did. Like. But we don't have the concern. We don't have to bury ourselves. We can get first and second. He's, yep, I'm in, I'm good. I'm like, all right, cool. And on the big, steep inclines up, I would hit my watch and I would look back every 10, 15 seconds and I would tell Justin, like, when the next person got there, like, hey man, we're 2 minutes 45 ahead. Like, we can throttle back on the pace, conserve ourselves. This is a long competition. It's a grind. And he said, okay, cool, yep. And so, you know, we're pacing off each other and we're like 2/3 of the way through, and this little shit goes, hey man, like he starts feeling a little recovered, and he goes, hey, when we get to the finish line, I'm racing. I'm like, dude, that was not the deal. And he's talkative, so I just ask him, hey, what's your favorite color? And he's like, mine, when I was younger, it was blue, but now it's green. And I'm controlling my breathing, getting under pace, and he's just chatting away. I'm like, oh man, this is pretty convenient. And they told me you wanted to race, so I was like, all right, let's go. And it was a good time. It was good. Thighs parallel to the ground, kick that leg out, try to keep your foot up as high as you can. Back to center, try to get a good rotation in your spine. Try to hit the same score every round. I I want to see someone get 20 reps in the first round and then 2 in the second. 5 power cleans, 5 shoulder sprints, and that's all walks. In 3, 2, 1, go! Alright guys, take a second to catch your breath. That works right now. Guys are coming out. Hopefully you got a good workout before we all sit in the stands, drink beer, and get sunburned all day. So thank you guys for coming out.
We sprinted the whole length of Miami to get here. So the warm-up was good on the cardio side. Yeah. But yeah, it's just amazing to do it. Absolutely amazing.
Great event.
I'm glad I made it out. Thanks, Matt.
That was awesome. Got a little burner, some strength, heavy power clean. It was fun.
Really glad that you did this for us.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you. It was so much fun.
It was super fast, super exciting. I think it relied so much on efficiency. We had a little surprise. Coach Jake Marconi beat his athlete, Jason Hopper, last night. I think he squeaked him out. They were in different heats. But event went fairly well for Jake. His summary of it was he paced it a little bit too much in the beginning. He should have, dropped the hammer a little bit sooner because the deadlifts at the end were almost a non-factor. Jason, just went out. I think wasn't as efficient as possible. I think the box step overs, they didn't go getting the kettlebells up didn't go as smoothly as he could. So it was kind of just like a tense up, just grunt through it and just kind of rushed it. And I think that kind of threw him off. I think the ropes are a bit thicker on the Bayfront. That may have thrown him off. He was really disappointed with his performance, but it was like, hey, this is early in the season. We're not even open yet. We've been working together for such a short period. So, we've seen improvements in the areas we've been working on, but there's still an endless list of stuff to work on. Overall, I think he was very disappointed in the event, but it didn't write him off. He wasn't in last place. It didn't take him completely out of the running. So I'd say if there was a place to make a mistake and how drastic it was like, check, all right, the mistake's done. It wasn't a catastrophic failure. We can move on. It's on to the next event. All right, so summary of the row, swim, run. It went incredibly well. On the rower, it was like go out, conservative, come off the rower, feeling great so you can dive right into the water. The swim was the big concern. Jason is so new to swimming. We've been working on just like basics. So the expectation was really low. I was hoping that he would come out of the swim with some confidence that, the training we've been doing is working. Little mistake when he did the row, he had the goggles on his forehead instead of around his neck or in his waistband. So as soon as he hit the water, put his goggles on, they fogged right up. He swam way out. He hit the first buoy and kept going straight. And, being on the sidelines, like on the shore and watching it happen, it's just like, oh no, like, please notice. But Still held his own, given how much work and how long we've been swimming, which is very little. It was the best case scenario. He held his own. He came out, didn't panic, stayed calm, and then he was able to get onto the runner and absolutely drop the hammer. I think he was 12th out of the water, and then he finished 8th. So came out feeling good enough, nice and easy the first 100, 200 meters, and then he put down the hammer, made up a ton of ground, phenomenal effort. So, just a little difference of taking the goggles from on your forehead when you're sweating to just giving them some air to breathe so they're not fogging up. Little details like that end up being big chunks and points. So that's a data point that we're taking back and going to work on next time. All right, so we had a 10-round workout. First 5 rounds with 15 handstand push-ups, 5 heavy overhead squats, immediately into 5 rounds of 5 ring muscle-ups, 15 overhead squats with a much lighter weight. Going into that one, it was looking at it like damage control. Jason is such a big athlete. He's 6'2", has just an enormous wingspan, 225. So handstand push-ups are always an uphill battle, but doing a ton of work on them. So we set up, small goals. It's not, hey, finish these handstand push-ups before everyone else. It was, all right, break them up from the beginning, be efficient with them. But when you kick down, we set up little goals of you're not walking away, you're not taking steps away. You kick down, your feet, wherever they land, that's where you stay. And, he executed perfectly. Such a big guy, such a big wingspan. He's going to cycle a little bit slower. He's moving a lot of weight. So it was breaking them up in smaller sets right from the beginning. But then his overhead squats, it was, all right, let's not take the risk of trying to snatch it. Let's clean it as wide as we can. So he was still able to go collar to collar on the clean, cycled those well, maintained, kept a good pace. Another thing was so many transitions in that workout, and there were long transitions back and forth. So it was, let's move with intent, let's move with purpose. And he executed that perfectly. On the second half of the workout, unbroken on the muscle ups, he hit that. That was great. The lighter overhead squats, the goal was go unbroken, keep your grip in a position where you can move your fingers so you're not burning out your forearms. Executed that great. It's just, there's just more motor work. You can always get better with it. I was getting concerned at the end because, he wasn't jumping up on the rings right away. He and Dallin Pepper got back to the last set of ring muscle-ups at the exact same time. Jay stopped to grab chalk, Dallin jumped up, and I was like, oh, come on, go, go, go. And then, he, at the 3, 2, 1, he hit failure on a muscle-up. So, okay, he knew his pace that he had to go. He, at the buzzer, was right at failure. It's like, okay, you paced that perfectly. That was awesome. You executed really, really well. So super happy with that performance. The biggest thing is, like, the most common thing I see with people doing rope climbs is it just fatigues them out so much because they're using the muscles that are readily available, just pulling with their arms. Even when they're doing regular rope climbs, it's so much like a legless. They're always supporting their upper body with the climb. And the most common thing you'll see is even though they're using their feet, they're still pulling with their upper body. So they jump, grab, and first thing they do before they bring their feet up, they pull to here to get as small of a clinch as possible. It's fine for the first rope climb, it's fine for 2, but as soon as you have like a set of 8, so what I want you guys to practice is, I always say this, practice rope climbing with your top arm locked out. So that top arm, when you grab, so this is the arm I'm talking about, whichever one gripped on top, actively think about flexing that tricep, keeping that arm as straight as possible. Arm's locked out. So what I want you guys to practice, when we're doing just like 10 minutes for quality, we don't even have to go up to the top, just one pull. But what I want you guys to practice, when you jump, actively just focus on that top arm, keeping that elbow locked out, here, and bringing your feet up. You'll see a lot of people like big, dramatic, getting their feet over their head. How high your feet go. It's all about the gap in between your hands and your feet. So if you're coming up here, this big dramatic thing, who cares? It's all about this gap in between your hands and feet. So if you stay vertical, use less energy. And if you're still getting it in 2 pulls, who cares if it was a pull and a half, you still did 2 pulls. try to time it, keep that upper arm locked out. When you clench your feet, think about pulling your hips in and then just standing up. So even once you're lifting yourself, you're doing an air squat. Your legs are gonna be much, much more powerful than your arms. So once you lock, hips right into the rope, still not, my hands are here. My hands are here to help me from not falling backwards, but I'm not lifting and then just standing. So try to think about keeping that upper arm locked out, using your legs, pull your hips into the rope, stand up, and just come down. Only one pull at a time, no need to go all the way up to the top quite yet. Working on technique. So partner up with 3 or 4 people per lane and just rotate through one climb at a time. Focus on grabbing the rope, keeping that top arm locked out, and then getting that first bite, all right? We'll take about 10 minutes, rotate through, no rush on it, try to get a couple climbs. And then really focus on, like, once your feet are gathered, okay. Have a good clamp, and then I can just... We're gonna start off on the runner, hit your calories, move to the rower, hit your calories, move to the bike, hit your calories. As soon as you're off the bike, we're trying to go as quickly as possible. Fast transition, run back, hit 1 to 2 rope climbs. We're looking for like a 30-second effort. So if you need to take a 30-second break after 1 rope climb to hit your second, just do 1 rope climb. We're just going after the stimulus here. It's not about the exact same work for every single person, okay?
Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Just my kind of heat, keep it on repeat. Tested by the motion, loving this devotion. Live it up, sweet emotion.
It's early as hell. There was no music, no microphone, but I appreciate you guys coming, throwing down. Hopefully you take something of value home with you to improve on your workouts when we're not all together. But thank you guys for coming. Thanks for giving everything. Thank you.
Run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe, you're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Just my kind of heat, keep it on repeat.
I waited in line. You didn't wait in line at all.
Yeah, back in the line.
You are the best.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this.
Yes.
They're great people. It's like summer camp, you know. You get, oh my god, I haven't seen you forever. And like, especially with everything, you almost really haven't seen people in forever, so it's been nice. Oh my gosh, guys, we just did a pancake breakfast at Wodapalooza. Myself and the Buttery Bros hosted it. We had King Arthur flour give us some pancake mix. We put maple butter pancake protein powder from PODIUM. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. It's a tongue twister. I'm a little delirious. I think we cooked like, I don't know, 600 pancakes or something. So it was great. Everyone was well fed. A ton of people showed up for it. I want to say maybe 200 people came through. Woo, a lot of pancakes.
When in Miami.
You got a rocket shirt.
I remember in high school. Dude, when I was in high school, I wanted American Eagle cargo shorts, a green or a blue polo pop, and a buka shell necklace. Bro, I watched the video the other day of a guy being like, getting ready for a high school party in 2007. And it was the American Eagle cargo shorts that like just balloon out, the double polo, both pop, aviators, hat, buka shell necklace, and then he sprays himself down with Axe. And then he flipped out a functional flip phone and took a mirror selfie in 1.3 megapixel. I was like, damn. That was a vibe.
every time. Not you. You're just. Love you, buddy. I'm just like, are you proud of me?
Do you? Do you even?
Sorry, guys.
We're excited too.
What? Nothing. I want to say hi.
Are you Justin Medeiros? Can I get a picture of you?
I'm not.
Not me.
Before we went out, Matt was like, yeah, just, do your toast bar and then drop your hammer on the devil's press. And I was like, where? There's 55 of them. Yeah.
I've done a workout like that one time, and I was like, it was miserable.
Justin. Whoa, I gotta get
All right, that's a wrap on the weekend. Wodapalooza has been a blast. We're both voices hoarse, so much talking, so much smiling.
It's summer camp for CrossFitters. You get to meet up with all your friends, working our asses off, hanging out with friends, staying up late, getting up when it's still dark to do community workouts.
We had like a beautiful sunrise today.
Yeah, while you're working out, the sun is rising, and you're outside to enjoy it. So it's been incredible. I mean, we had events for our athletes that were absolute home run hits. We had some mistakes, but most importantly, we have more information. We have confirmation, just that confidence for Jason and Jake that like, all right, the things you've been working on, they're working, you're seeing the results, but now we're going back home with even more data points, more things to work on, and even just little tiny details that like we can apply to our training so that we can, next time we show up, we have a few less mistakes. We're a little bit more prepared, and I'm just so excited that like the season is right around the corner. We have a competition that we have like just all this information of what to work on, what to keep working on, what's working, what's not working, just to make sure that our athletes are just so proud of, their end result.
I think the other cool thing too is like we got to meet some members that were competing here. There were like 80 members from HWPO, and we got to meet a good handful of them, and then you watch them in their heats and get to like sit down with them, and they got to ask Matt questions, and that was super cool.
Well,
too.
it's cool too. Like with the HWPO Pro, like we do a weekly Zoom call, so we go over the week that's coming up, the week that just happened. Tips, tricks, strategies, everything, intent of every piece, and then they get to ask questions on last week, this week, next week, like all that stuff. So, there's a lot of names that show up regularly. So it's just cool to put a face to the name, and I want them to be familiar with me so they're more comfortable to ask better questions, because the more questions they ask, it holds me accountable and makes sure that I have an answer for everything I'm doing. It makes me better of, hey, why are you doing this and not this? And I'm like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I can start implementing stuff like that. So, it makes me better at my craft with the more comfort level they have with me. So it's been a blast of a weekend. We get to go home, we get to stay home, and we get to work.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I know. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed, whether you were here, whether you were at home. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. And we'll
subscribe, swipe up, give us a little comment.
And we'll see you next time.